Back in 1997, the main guy from Jurassic Park built a portal to hell and sent it into space. Let me explain. Today I watched Event Horizon, and let me tell you, this bitch is full of hot goss, so if you want the scuttlebutt, keep watching. So what is this about? So apparently in 2015, we were supposed to have already colonized the moon. And then a few decades after that, we were supposed to send out spaceships so we could start colonizing other places. Well, the Jurassic Park doctor managed to make this, like, man-made black hole thing, and it was supposed to make the spaceships faster so that we could get to better places. And something about gravity. I don't understand science. Anyway, what he actually made, instead of a portal to a dimension so that they could go faster, was in fact a portal to hell. Which isn't surprising because the portal to hell looks like the big machine-y thing from 13 Ghosts. But also, you never actually get to see hell in the movie, but I'm assuming it's just a Buc-ee's. Because Buc-ee's is hell, and Satan is a beaver. Anyway, the crew who was on the Event Horizon who was testing out the man-made black hole thing just stops responding and nobody hears from them again. And then, like, the ship is kind of stuck near Neptune. And so they send out a search party, and that's who we're following in the whole movie. Well, the search party gets there, and there's, like, blood everywhere, and there's nobody left alive, and some weird shit starts happening. Everybody starts hallucinating and seeing things. One guy gets sucked into the portal of hell and comes back, and then he's completely catatonic. He's, like, kind of sort of in a coma. But all of these hallucinations on the ship that everybody keeps seeing are causing them to, yeet in severely graphic ways. Regarding the storyline, that's kind of all you need to know. It is a little goofy looking, I'm gonna warn you, like, comparatively, because you had, like, aliens and stuff come out, and I think those look really good. However, I'm not gonna judge it because it used full practical effects, and the director, I think his name's Anderson? I think that's his name? Yeah, Paul Anderson. Yes, Paul Anderson is very proud of the fact that he used special effects on everything. He said it was a great time. They used fake blood and barbed wire and all sorts of crazy shit. And personally, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because I feel like it has great fucking potential. Not that it's not already great, but here's where all the gossip comes in. Are you ready for this? The first thing you need to know is that I was always told the making of Event Horizon was cursed. So when I heard the movie was cursed, I thought what they meant was because they were working with hell, there would be all sorts of, like, paranormal shit going on. Apparently not. It just means that anything that could go wrong on this movie did. I googled, I couldn't find anything regarding, like, any kind of paranormal, religious kind of thing going on set. I didn't find any of that. What they were actually talking about was, so Event Horizon was being made around the same time as Titanic, both under Paramount. And if you know anything about the making of Titanic, it was basically hell on earth, and James Cameron needed a whole lot more time, which fucked with all the release dates for Paramount's movie releases. So in order to give Titanic more time to be made, they had to push Event Horizon by, like, a lot. And that was, like, the big blockbuster for the summer, or it was supposed to be the big blockbuster for the summer to take Titanic's place. That being said, the Paramount people, whoever, like, review all the footage from, like, the weeks before, stopped looking at all the footage for Event Horizon, like, a few weeks into it. So Anderson decided he was just going to make what he wanted, exactly what he wanted, the way he wanted it. However, the beauty this man made, Paramount was pissed. It was blood, guts, and ass everywhere, supposedly. And it was over 2 hours long. Paramount told him they had to cut a ton of stuff off the showroom floor. And so they did, and it was all, like, the gory stuff, basically. And now it's, like, 96 minutes or somewhere around there. But outside of that test audience, including the Paramount people and the cast and crew, obviously, nobody has ever seen the director's cut for Event Horizon. It's kind of like an urban legend. And so I started deep diving for this video, and they were talking to Anderson about, you know, do you think we'll ever get the director's cut? And Paul Anderson told him, you know, Event Horizon was made a few years before DVDs, and so it was going to go to VHS. Well, on VHS, there's not really room for, like, deleted scenes and things like that, so it more or less destroyed. They can't really release a director's cut, supposedly. He said in order for them to release a director's cut, they would have to do what Zack Snyder did. Or at least I think they said what Zack Snyder did, and they would have to reshoot a lot. Which is great. The problem is this movie's, what, almost 25 years old? So unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get that. Even if we're good-hearted people who deserve it. And that led me down the rabbit hole, because y'all know how my brain works. If we wanted that version of Event Horizon, it couldn't be a director's cut like that just because so much time has passed. It would have to be the full remake. And unfortunately, remakes are inevitable. I hate it. You hate it, but there's nothing we can do, really. So I obviously had thoughts. Paul Anderson would definitely come back. He would have full range, full budget, whatever he needs, and he can have as much blood, guts, and ass as he chooses. If Eli Roth is allowed to do what he did, fucking Paul Anderson can do exactly what he wishes. Secondly, as I always do, I made my own cast list. But here's the thing, when I made my cast list, I was still under the impression we were dealing with some, like, paranormal curse, as opposed to just this movie was very hard to make curse. So when you see my cast list, it's going to look very weird, but I will explain. Number 1, for the most part, I wanted them to look like their characters. Number 2, they needed to be able to keep up with each other. And number 3 were personal reasons. Here we are. This is Crushed Parking Lot Candy's recasting of Event Horizon should they ever decide to remake it, under the guise that the production was haunted. Number 1, we're going to keep Lawrence Fishburne, and we're going to keep Lawrence Fishburne in his original role. Why? Because he's essentially the final girl. If he's already dealt with whatever scary thing was on set, he's going to know how to get out again. He is the leader. Number 2, Cillian Murphy is going to be Dr. Weir. My thoughts being is there's something kind of poetic about him creating the bomb that is hell on earth, the destroyer of worlds, and then turning around and creating an actual portal to hell. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like a well-rounded thing. And then we have Mark Ruffalo as DJ. Because Mark Ruffalo being a loser at the end of Poor Things wasn't enough for some people. I feel like having him completely turned inside out physically, might be enough catharsis to make up for that. Stark could be played by Emily Blunt. I have personal beef over what Emily Blunt said about that chili server. Ma'am, you and your husband make a combined total of millions of dollars every year as opposed to her $2.15 an hour. And then you want to talk shit. Time on a cursed set might humble you. The other lady I think should be played by Kirsten Dunst. She didn't do anything wrong, but I'm really upset she only gets like a role every couple of years. And she hasn't done a horror since like Interview with the Vampire. Like, give her a chance. Like, damn. Bill Skarsgård as Justin. This one's a little preemptive due to the upcoming Crow remake. Because if the Crow movie's good, then he gets to be an occult classic. If the Crow movie is bad, DJ was the one that got put into hell for a little bit, so he'll be in agony for a few minutes like we will be. No idea which way that one's gonna go, though. Smith is going to be played by LL Cool J. Because once upon a time, in the Y2K era, LL Cool J was in a lot of horror movies, and he was very good, but now he is stuck in all the damn NCIS movies, or shows. And he is more than just NCIS entertainment. And finally, we have Will Smith as Cooper. And if you're wondering why, I think some time on a haunted movie set would do him some good, and he can reflect on what exactly he deserves in life, where he would like to be. Does that make sense? And this hat here is just a hat. I just wanted to focus on, like, the core main cast. So 10 out of 10. Okay, bye. Spaceship to hell. We're on a spaceship to hell.